Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing excellent. Look who's in the garage. That's right, our new 13B is in the garage, almost ready to go there in its home. But today, what I want to work on is getting the engine all dressed up. So there's some things we need to add, things we need to change, and a lot of sensors we need to hook up. So over here on my workbench, I've got a variety of Haltech sensors, the BAC valve, the ignition harness, the injectors, which I got back from flow testing. Good news is they're in good shape even after the engine fire, so no problems there. Down here I'm working on getting the throttle body off of the other car, and we're just going to get this thing all dressed up and ready to go. So what was the result of all that? Let me show you. Much more finished and put together. I have pretty much everything hooked up. I'm going to need to get this stock adapter or connection from the bypass air control valve adapted to the Haltech harness. So we're working on that. Fuel rails are in, fuel injectors are in. And I'm gonna, of course, have to take this off and on a few more times when I'm finishing the fuel system, but I just wanted to get it on here, get it looking cool, and see what's what. Now, in addition, what I did off camera that was long and tedious is I took some parts of the old burnt harness and fixed them. So I got the boost control solenoid connector rewired up. I took and stripped down the old crank angle sensor harness and made a new one, pinned that out, and I went ahead and got the S5 throttle body back on here and pinned out the wide range throttle position sensor, and inside this heat shrink back here is just cleaning up and keeping the wires from the low range one, but they're not connected. That is pinned out now as well. Down here I have the oil temp sensor installed, and then I have the old oil pressure sensor, or excuse me, this is actually the old oil temp. I actually have an oil pressure one that's going to go in there, but I haven't received that yet. And then the oil temp one now goes in here, and put a block off plate there. I just put that one in there just to hold it and keep it closed because I do want to get this in as soon as possible. And then down here I installed the stock oil pressure sensor. So let me show you what some of the stuff looked like that I repaired and replaced after that engine fire. So here's the old oil pressure sensor, old coolant temp sensor, old intake air temperature sensor. This is the old crank angle sensor harness that I stripped apart and remade. And this is the connector from the boost solenoid. So still have a few more things. This is the ignition harness. I'm going to put that in when it's on in the car. Map sensor, new knock sensor. I can probably get that on, but it's just behind the engine and stand, and this one actually looks fine. I'm going to replace it anyway though, because obviously I just don't want to take a chance with that, but I kind of want to test it because I'm gonna build the other engine so an extra knock sensor wouldn't hurt. Anyway, this is 2 nights worth of work after work, and just very tedious stuff. But it's looking good, so I'm really interested in maybe just grabbing the transmission, throwing it on here, and maybe I can put it in. I'm just here prepping the transmission and getting it ready, but I'm so excited. I broke a bolt off in there. I don't know why it was so soft. I was just using a hand tool. But if anybody has ever tried, you know what this is. Do you know how satisfying that is? That I actually got it out with an easy out, and it took me like less than 10 minutes. Oh my goodness. I might just frame this easy out with this bolt on the end of it. Oh my goodness. Oh. Well, that's the biggest victory I've had in a while. Anyway, back to this. So the bolt came off of here, which is where the cross member is going to bolt on. But yeah, I don't know why. I was just tightening it back in, actually, just to hold it in place so I didn't lose the bolt, and it just came off. So this wiring harness, as you can see, get you some more light, is toasted as well. I would like to have my reverse lights and everything work, and it's obviously different because it's an S4. So my hope is that I can go pull the wiring harness off of the S5 and it'll all fit in here. Additionally, this is the speedo cable and it's ruined as well. So same thing there. I'm hoping that that the speedo cable from the S5 will work in here. All right, so I've made a little bit of progress since I filmed last. Boom. Transmission's on. Was able to switch the wiring. It did all fit in here. I'm not sure if it will work, but we're going to give it a shot. Look at the harness, see if we get our reverse lights and everything. And I've just been working over, finding a few things to work on. I'm like blocking off vacuum ports I don't need, and put in the thermocouple amplifiers, or just the thermocouples, the amplifiers, the box. Have I done anything else? Don't really think so, but when I go through and do stuff like that, obviously it's going to come off and on a few more times, but it helps me just look things over and see if there's anything else I could do while it's outside of the vehicle, make things easier. Oh, I did swap over the slave cylinder from the other transmission because the other one, this was all burnt. And this boot is burnt, but I don't know how to replace that or find anything, so we're just going to have to roll with it as is. Yeah. But I'm thinking, hey, it's already up on the stand, might as well put it in, right? So I'm going to be doing that in just a moment. Obviously I need some mounts to put it on, and right here, boom. Got the FBY rubber, Mazda genuine parts. So instead of going with the polyurethane, again, I went with the Mazda Speed competition level motor mounts and transmission mounts. So front to back, it's pretty much everything is new, right? So new ball joints, new polyurethane bushings and all the suspension and control arms. Subframe mounts are all Mazda competition stiffness. We got the pinion snubber, and now we have the engine mounts as well. So I'm excited for that. So I'm going to go ahead and start maneuvering things around in the garage here so we can get this in. All right, so after that struggle with getting the engine in, obviously a combination of I don't have an engine leveler and the hoist is not quite long enough to reach all the way back as far as this sits. But with Jeff's help, we got it in. No damage to anything, thank goodness, but you know, doubt this is going to be, this is already the second time we've done this, so yeah, we'll probably get some different equipment for the future. But now the challenge is to get the transmission mounted. I need to get under there and get the cross member on. Now this is the cross member from the S4 because we have the S4 transmission. So I need to get under there, get this mounted the transmission first, and then get this mounted up underneath it. These, of course, again, are the Mazda Speed competition bushings, and it is a little tricky to get everything mounted in there correctly because there are some tabs here that you have to line up correctly and get it all in place. So I'm going to go ahead and get to work on that, and it should be a fun, enjoyable day. All right, boys and girls, transmission cross member is back in. I know I didn't show it, but it's hard to film down there and it's not too exciting. The point is I got it in. The engine is in its home, its new home, from my original S4 that I bought when I was 19 years old to my new right-hand drive S5. Obviously an exciting moment for me. Hopefully it's exciting for you all as well. That's going to do it for this video. Please remember, check the links in the description below. Be kind to each other out there, and when they ask you, tell them you want more.